Donny Gilbert here, market expert for FreightWaves. Today we're going to look at a few of the indices that we want to look at while we're going through SONAR to see what's going to be happening in the markets in the southeast after Hurricane Dorian has passed. I've brought a chart here with us, and the first thing we're going to look at is outbound and inbound tender volumes. We go in through, it's very important that you go in and look at your knowledge center to kind of help learn what's going on with these indices. Up in the top right-hand corner of your SONAR screen, you'll see a question mark with a circle around it. Click on that question mark and drop down to where it says Knowledge Center. Click on your Knowledge Center, it'll bring you to a new screen, and you want to go to the center part where it says Indices by Category, and click on that, and it'll take you into all the indices that are in the SONAR platform. Today we want to concentrate, if you scroll down to the volume section for trucking volumes, we'll talk about outbound tender volumes and inbound tender volumes. This lets us know where the freight is, basically, where all the freight is either leaving a market or entering a market. So for outbound tender volumes, I've brought the market for Atlanta because we know a lot of the water that's loaded in disaster times is loaded out of the Atlanta market. We also have a lot of freight that's been moved from the Atlanta market and actually stored in Alabama. So we also want to watch the surrounding markets as well, because they will be dispatching trucks from the Alabama markets, delivering into markets into the coastal areas. And those are areas that we might want to be checking the inbound tender volumes. So here I brought a chart here. We look at the ticker OTVI, that's outbound tender volume index. And when you type this in a chart, you want to type in OTVI, a period, and the market that you're looking into. So Atlanta, OTVI.ATL. And we can compare that and also look at ITVI. This is inbound tender volume index. And the same, we type in ITVI, a period, and the market. So for Columbia, South Carolina, since we use airport codes, we would type in ITVI.CAE. We look at the outbound tender volumes and we subtract out from the outbound, we subtract the inbound, we come up with our head haul index, which I have here in blue. Our head haul index is the way that we measure capacity in a market. So to measure capacity, you would use the ticker HAUL, a period, and the airport code. So for Atlanta, HAUL.ATL. And here we have where we see that our capacity in Atlanta now is negative 4.84, which, being a negative number, means Atlanta is currently still a backhaul market, and there's plenty of capacity in the Atlanta market. Now, switching over to another very important ticker is outbound tender rejection rates. Our outbound tender rejection rates record or measure the willingness of carriers to deliver into a certain market or pick up a load out of a certain market. So our outbound tender rejection rates for the Atlanta market would measure how willing carriers are to pick up loads from the Atlanta market in relevant to the actual contracted rates from that market. So as we see outbound tender rejection rates rise, that tells us that spot market rates in that market are also on the rise. When we see outbound tender rejection rates go down, we know that spot market rates are going down. Now, inbound tender rejection rates are very similar to outbound tender rejection rates, except we're measuring the tender rejection rates using the destination market. So it's the willingness of a carrier to deliver into that destination. And that's going to be very important when you look at the markets such as Wilmington, Savannah, and Columbia, South Carolina. How willing are those carriers to deliver in? When we see inbound tender rejection rates start to pick up, we know that spot market rates for those markets, for delivering into those markets, are also picking up. So I brought you here outbound tender rejection rates, OTRI. We type in again into our charts, we type in OTRI and the airport code. So for Columbia, South Carolina, we would type OTRI.CAE, and that would give us the outbound tender rejection rates. Now, outbound tender rejection rates for this measurement include all trailer types, drive-in, reefer, and flatbed. So here, looking at the blue line right now, our outbound tender rejection rates currently are 6.55, and the market I brought here today is Columbia, South Carolina. You can break this down into both drive-in and reefer. Today I brought the drive-in. So VOTRI is drive-in outbound tender rejection rates. Here in Columbia, it is 6.64. We type in again VOTRI.CAE, and that'll bring up your outbound tender rejection rates for Columbia. Looking at the inbound, it's VITRI.CAE. That again is the inbound tender rejection rates. If you want to look at reefers, it's ROTRI, and inbound reefer is RITRI. So looking back, Outbound tender rejection rates correlate very, very closely with what's going on in the spot markets. So when you're doing your bidding on these loads, it's very important. Check the head haul for capacity, check the volumes to see where the freight's coming from and where the freight's going to and which markets, and also check your outbound tender rejection rates so you know if the rates in the market are going up or going down.